Okay. Okay. I think I didn't even turn the mic off or anything. Back online. Fixed it. Fixed it. And sincerest apologies. That buzz. Yes, Twitch. I know. My stream stopped and restarted. Everyone wants to tell me about it. Okay. They should work now, Tef. I'm sorry. And apparently they were working for you the whole time, and this was all just an exercise in me being able to hear the cool sounds. But hey, if the audio's not going to be working, I'm going to stop everything. So there. Right, so we were routing to 13 jumps to the Sarge. That's fine. And should first make sure I remembered to fit a fuel scoop, because I'm sure I did, but yes, 3A fuel scoop, and I'm not carrying my hull reinforcements because they just weigh me down anyway. We have a jump range of only 13. Actually, I wonder if we could put a booster in there. Could fit a size 2 frameshift drive booster while I'm hopping around to everywhere. That'd be okay to do. One. It's probably on a ship. I'm just gonna look on Anara. Cursor go. Okay. Name called Guardian, it'd be under G. Guardian FSD booster. Have a size 2. It is on an Aspis Explorer. Very good. Let's go find that Asp Explorer. Where? Frameshift drive booster size 2. Go get it. Cockpit. Good cockpit. Four. Teflon. Subscriber for 5 months. Thank you. The legend continues. iEagle. Alright. Slot. Did I not store the module? Guess I didn't click enough times or something. You are a delight. Asp Explorer. No longer has the frameshift drive booster. Right? But why is it not in storage? Swap this. Transfer. There's the frameshift drive booster. It's a size 2. Transfer. But I can't put it here. Why can't? Oh, because it's a military slot. Oh, for God's sake. Eagles. I can't do anything about that. Because I need to take my shield with me. Because I need to put a special effect on it. Oh, apparently we're not going with a frameshift drive booster. That sucks. Okay. Whatever. I'll get there faster with a faster fuel scoop than if I put it in there. That's a big bummer. Okay. Okay, root the thing. Let's make sure I'm set. Fastest and using jet cone boost. Alright, here we go. What am I doing? I'm engineering a ship. You want to chit chat, buddy? There you go. Wait to speak if you want to. Alright. I am engineering. Hey, I am engineering my small ships for tomorrow night. So I'm gonna fly this Imperial Eagle around.
Always. What's going on tomorrow night?
Beautiful. Well, tomorrow night. 3 cameras, 3. There we go.
I'll set you up for some good chilling.
Tomorrow night is small ship night. Piranha Squad. We're gonna do some Haz-resing and stuff like that. Small ships only. No large hard points allowed. Means
Nice.
the Vulture's out. And so is the DBX, as a matter of fact. Just don't bring a large hard point. We want to
Well,
do
I'm
some...
in Colonia, so I won't be bringing anything.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. You're not back yet. Okay.
Nah, I'll be back Wednesday or Thursday.
Still in Masslock. Yeah, so we're gonna do this the old-fashioned way because I hate waiting around for carriers. So, and I got a Sidewinder to engineer too if I can get this done in a reasonable amount of time and don't get bored. But yeah, just my sidey. I actually didn't have my fully engineered sidey like I thought I did, so it's all ready to go, and this one's all built. So we'll just.
It's okay, you can still talk big, I'll believe you.
Well, I intend to engineer it. I intend to have both in case I feel like switching, but I wanted to go very small. I have that Courier, but the Courier is nasty. Like, you can take out Corvettes by itself, so that's not really anything.
It's not sporting.
Yeah, I want to have, we want the swarm to overwhelm things. So I'm going right now to engineer cannons. I can't remember if I've ever engineered any cannons before, but apparently I have the Sarge unlocked, so.
Dude, I love cannons so much.
Yeah, and I put my dumbfire rack on the size 2 slot up top here with penetrator payload munitions in it. So for taking out modules, so we'll work the low weapons capacitor drain, which is my typical MO. Shit that doesn't take a lot of energy. That's how you stay fit and loose. So this ship has a little shield, but it's like big hull and repair limpet based. Really, it's got like just a quick bi-weave. It recharges in 18 seconds.
Good crap.
So it's gonna absorb, like,
That's not even
I'll do
fair.
a pat. So I'll be going like over 600 meters a second, right? And then I'll zoom past, do my volley, and then it should be recharged. If they drop the whole shield, I think it might take like 30 seconds or something to come back online. But if I can keep it online, you know, if I keep the pips and systems and keep it online for a whole pass, then I should be fully charged by the time I come back around for another pass. So we'll see how it works. And whatever, the shield will drop. The shield will drop, but I have repair limpets. So we'll be able to stay
When I
in for
get
a
back,
long
I'm
time.
gonna put together a keelback with a prismatic shield on it just for the lulz.
I don't know. I flew a keelback for a minute in my path to Python when I was like into core mining. And
Yeah.
I remember really not liking the keelback, but I have no idea because like I didn't know how to fly. I have no idea if it's like better than I remember or something. I remember basically what it has going for it is it has a lot of hard points.
Yeah, it has the 2 medium, 2 small, but it can also equip a fighter bay. That's its thing.
Oh, it's just 2 medium and 2 small? Okay, so it's not like an Aspect X. Not like that many hard points. Where are we going? Another brown dwarf? Okay. Watch the fuel, watch the fuel. 10 more jumps to go over to the...
Dude, I
Sarge's
got out to
place.
Colonia in like 4 or 5 days, and I only
Yep.
almost ran out of fuel like twice. I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, good job. It's
Had
the
to stop and be
neutroning
like,
where
okay, where's
Yeah.
a scoopable star near me?
It's the neutroning where I start to get a little...
You get complacent.
Yeah, you start to just rip through it, but...
Clipper handled it well, though. I love that ship even more now.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be something you'd be okay for. Okay, where am I going this time?
Frameshift drive charging.
Red Dwarf, that'll do. Alright, so I think this is going to be the first time I'm doing a planetary landing with FAOff. And actually, what thrusters are in this? Because I haven't bought the good thrusters. I haven't bought the good thrusters yet for this ship because enhanced performance thrusters you can only get at the engineer bases.
Yeah. I usually fly
Felicity,
it.
so I'll be going to ARC for that. So I think just throttle down here while I charge. Yeah, I just have the 3E thrusters on here. That's
3E
fine though. They'll hold me, you know, the little Eagle, they'll hold it off the ground. Sarge isn't a high gravity planet, is it? We'll find
I
out.
think it's like 5.56 or 0.65.
Oh.
So
It's not nothing.
Drive charging.
it's not high, but it's not nothing either. Yeah.
Yeah. Having never, well, you know how much it wobbles with flight assist on. Actually, maybe that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I've gotten super lazy. I've gone back to gimbaled cannons because I can't be bothered to actually aim with the Clipper.
Well, the Clipper, it'd be even tougher with a Clipper, right?
Yeah, so I just use it as an excuse to go back to gimbaled weapons because I like those the most
Yeah.
anyways.
Well, I put gimbaled here, but I'm gonna be dry aiming the missiles. I don't know. I thought, especially because I'm flying flight assist off it, I think my damage output will be higher with gimbals, so that's what I did.
Yeah. There's a fine line between doing more damage per shot and having more time on target.
Yeah, I exclusively switched to that. All my frags, I got rid of all the fixed. It's
So did
really
I.
only worthwhile with the pacifiers on the Chieftain. Everything else should be...
Frags are surprisingly hard to get good hits with unless you're like right up on
Yeah.
the guy.
Right, and you put the gimbals on and suddenly you can strafe an FAOff really easily and land a lot of those pellets, so... Even
Yep.
at kind of at distance sometimes, so we'll see. As I recall, when we did our Eagle fight in... Oh, it's a neutron. When we did our Eagle fight in Colonia, Did they have
Oh, I
gimbals
forgot
there?
about
I
that.
think those were, they only had fixed, right?
Yeah, they only had fixed, but they had like gimbal multi-cannon or something, so I grabbed those because I needed every advantage I could get.
Yeah, so it was tough, and I was doing that with flight assist on, but that was a very, very tough to land those shots.
Frameshift drive supercharged.
Yeah, sometime we should do a fight night for the group where we fly the carriers out to one of those Lagrange points that has lightning in the clouds.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a fun place to fight. Does that damage the ship? I haven't been to one of
I
those.
think so.
Frameshift drive charging.
I think so.
Makes it extra spicy. No, I'm really not sure if they damage the ship or not. I know they can damage shields. I don't know if they damage the hull.
Oh, like it might not do hull damage.
Yeah, but either way, that adds a nice little thing to the fight.
Hey, here's a question for you. On the tone control, what name do you want me to say when I thank you at the end of the show as a patron?
Oh, Timmy.
Because right now, I think it just says your screen name on the Patreon.
Yeah,
So that's
on
what
that
it said.
Discord, I changed it to my real name, so that's fine.
Oh. Okay. Tricky tracks. Okay. All right, well,
Wait, did that
Teflon, I
work?
think I failed.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, that's funny. I wasn't even looking at the Twitch chat.
Yeah,
'Cause
I was
haven't
trying to
been
get you,
logged
but I
in.
knew you'd see it eventually, but I didn't have any other
Thanks, Tef.
options in the chamber. To the Phantom Zone. You can't put him in the Phantom Zone. So what are you doing tonight, Tef? Probably not jumping an Imperial Eagle across the galaxy like an idiot.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Yeah. Well, like, I could take my carrier. The trouble is, like, I have more than one ship I want to do, but I hate doing all the waiting for the carrier so much.
Yeah, I've heard it's hard to find a parking spot near or in engineering systems anyways.
Yeah, I've never had a ton of trouble, like, with anything within one jump, but they're always full. It's like, if you can get the slot right next to the world, that's awesome, but they're always full, so you...
Yeah.
I imagine that's not a place people camp, necessarily, because you go there, you do your work, and then you move on, right? So it probably changes over a lot. I would think, anyway.
I would too. Out in Colonia, there's someone's fleet carrier literally named "I sell all ships, good prices," and I'm tempted to fly out to his carrier just to look at the stock.
Now, don't they have all the... Isn't all outfitting ultimately available in Colonia now? It didn't used to be.
Yeah, it should be. You got to do a lot more flying around than you do in the bubble, but it's
Yeah.
out there.
8.5, yeah, I need the boost for this.
Evening, gents.
Ty, welcome.
Hi, how's it going?
Howdy, y'all. I did my little wave.
You waved into the ether.
I
do
always
that
see your wave.
to everybody.
Supercharged.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, but I just was just listening. But I was thinking that there's a few of the larger ships that are not available out in Colonia. Like I don't think the Corvette or the Cutter are available out there.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, but I'm curious
Hmm.
enough that now I'm logging into Elite since I'm out there, gonna fly to that dude's carrier and see what's up.
Mhm.
Does he sell...
And I'm also.
Can he sell those rank locked ships?
I don't think. See, I don't think you can sell the rank lock ships.
Yeah. Sioux
But I might be wrong.
Falls. Yeah, Tef's going to
I
Sioux
think
Falls
if you
tomorrow.
can, you have to have the rank to be able to fly it to sell it, but that might just be me making stuff up.
That would make sense, I suppose. So Ty, are you gonna be around tomorrow night? We're flying small ships, Piranha Squad. We're gonna take down some big game, and maybe, I don't know, we'll want to involve some PvP crap because that's always fun.
I don't have a small ship worked up. I mean, I own all the ships, but they're all like E-class, you know?
Yeah. What I'm doing
I should bring
tonight.
his E-class then.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yellow orange. See, fuel just in time. Yeah, this is an Imperial Eagle. That's all getting engineered right now.
I've actually never seen the VR view from the Eagle. It's really
Oh, it's
nice.
cozy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually pretty. There's that Imperial seat. There's my neck, my non-neck.
There's a couple of ships
Good call.
that in VR just look really top notch, and the Eagle's one of them.
Courier is pretty amazing, and I love the Vulture because the view down. I
Mhm.
love that from like crates and Vultures.
Mm-hmm. Oddly enough, I really like the Sidewinder as well. And
Yeah.
the Type 9 and Type 10 cockpits in VR
Yeah.
really, really make you feel like you're on a large, huge ship.
Yeah.
Like they
yeah.
really make you feel like that.
And the ASP cockpit is like that too, but it's not as big. You know, it doesn't have that same feeling. But boy, the view is outstanding in those.
I would
we're
argue
here.
the T10. Sorry.
Well, Type 10 and 9 are the same cockpit, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd argue they don't have a cockpit. They have a command deck.
They do. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's multi-floor, you know.
Yeah, it's like a 3-story building
Yep.
in the damn yeah. The coolest thing about the ASP cockpit is if you walk in VR, if you walk to the back of it, there's like a little hatch, and you look down, you can actually make your head crane to where you can look down at the bottom deck.
Oh, nice.
You
Hey,
kind of
have
have to do like some little tricks with the reset the zero to make it work, but it works.
Oh yeah. The Mamba. I should do a little walk around sometime because I've never gotten out of my seat and walked around these ships in VR because I'm tethered, of course. But all right, we're here at the Sarge's place. Oh God, he's way out in the middle of nowhere. What an asshole. Anyway, the Mamba has that there's like a ladder in the back that goes down to some lower level that you can't really see, and I want to know that it's all like cool down there and shit. Even though you'd never be able to see it without VR. Probably I'll turn around and there'll be there won't even be any meshes. I'll see through the bottom of the ship.
Actually,
But-
so there's a guy named Mechanic Man on
Yeah.
YouTube, and he
Dude,
has
he
a whole
rocks.
walkthrough where
Oh.
he did just that with the Mamba.
Yeah. Well, because he does
And
whole
what's
programs. He
interesting-
find ways to get into the landing bays and stuff like that before we could walk
Mhm.
around into any of those areas.
Mhm.
Of course, he's doing it in actual VR too. Yeah, he's a fun channel. I should look his video up for Mamba.
There it is. All ships for sale. Let's see if that's true.
The Mamba is in my opinion probably the best looking cockpit in the entire game, as bad as I hate to say it. And the reason why is because if you look around it, it has animated displays, and it's the
Yeah.
only one that has animated displays.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and
Yeah.
it's a great view too. It's those things on the side make you feel so cool and hot rod like. The only thing is if it had windows through the floor like the Vulture does, I would be. I mean, I'm in love anyway, but that's the only way it could be better.
My personal favorite, and I'm gonna get yelled at for this, is the ASP Scout cockpit. You can see everything in that thing.
Is it different? I've never flown one.
Yeah, there's not as much meat on the hull right next to the cockpit, so you literally just have a clear view every direction,
Hmm.
Huh.
except
I
behind you, of course.
never noticed it was any different than the Asp Explorer.
Yeah, the Asp Explorer feels closed in compared to the Scout's cockpit. It is that much more open.
They're both so far out in front, you know.
I know.
I scored my first Twitch follower.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're about to score your second. If you
Oh boy.
give me a second and tell me your Twitch name.
Yeah. In
NL8
fact,
or Needless 8.
Well, which
It's
is
one
it?
of them
Don't say
two.
or. It's one of them, not both. Is it in?
I am the one man editor.
I'll get it when I land. Well, you guys are just in time to see me try to land
NL
at
underscore hate.
the NL underscore hate. Got it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do I've been flying FAOff for a couple of weeks now. This is the first time I'm going to be landing on a planet surface since then. So.
Really?
And I'm doing it in this Eagle, which I'm not used to flying, and I haven't upgraded the thrusters yet. So these are E-rated thrusters because I haven't bought the enhanced performance yet.
Wait, I got a 10-second ad. You gotta wait. You gotta wait.
I'm approaching the planet. Don't worry, we got many moons.
2, 1.
Teflon playing the Thargoid sound.
Hey, that was my
Data.
first follower.
Hey guys,
Teflon, he's the man.
Alright, how the...
Jeff is there for you.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's gonna be at night too.
Roar
Great.
freaking scares me. every time.
God, y'all are so cool with the Twitch, and I am not cool with the Twitch.
It's fun. It's a lot of work. But if you get through some of the work to where, like at this point, I just get on and play, and it's like, who cares? After
The
that.
setup is the hard part.
The setup is the hard part. Once you get it basically so that it although I had audio crap go wrong today because I didn't put something together in the right order. Anyway, it's fine.
FAOff and entering the atmosphere upside down at a diagonal. There's a
Don't
bolt
worry about
move
that.
Flight assist off.
Don't worry about that. Glide is different in FAOff because it doesn't.
ED followed me.
Oh, there you go.
Shit.
When I'm touched down, I'll go follow you. All right.
Or
I'll
die,
follow
whichever
you.
comes first.
I'm
Or
just
die.
saying,
I mean, I don't think I'm gonna die.
I have faith in you.
All right, here we're coming in to the beach, which I can't remember ever even having been to. Better throttle down.
I don't think I've ever been to the beach either, but I have like everything engineered, so I'm really confused.
Stop forward thrust. Cannons? He does cannons and limpets. So it's possible that the only thing I did when I came here was limpets. All right, there we go. We slowed it down to 28. All right, let's throttle up. Here we go.
Clearance granted. Proceed to
That must be my pad right there. Which side is the... Oh, here it is. Rotate. Thrust. Alright. Gear down. Yeah, I can feel it pulling me down. Oh, we're 0.04 G. This isn't a big deal.
Landing gear deployed.
Slow
Darn.
down. Slow down.
I mean, yay.
Yeah, we'll
You're
just...
picking
go-
up speed there.
No, I'm
There
not.
you go.
You're behind.
Oh, there's a delay. You're a
Yeah. You're a delay. All right, nice and easy. Off.
There's a word for that.
Leveling off. Or being a
No,
delay.
Being a delay.
Oops. Here we go.
I suddenly
Gentle,
feel like I
gentle.
need to send you a bunch of YouTube tutorials on how to shoot an approach in Flight Simulator.
Okay, first, let's follow NL Hate on Twitch.
Welcome, Commander.
Let's see. Let's just open a new window.
I'm having a roaring success on my first day of like actually streaming.
Well, there's the
Nice.
other. That's the other part is having good friends. NL_Hate. There he is. Go to NL Hate. Oh, he's live right now.
live right now.
Dual streaming. Follow. We got it.
Oh, you know what? I did not set this stream up very well. It probably still says test stream.
It says, yeah, Elite Dangerous test stream. You're fine.
That's all right.
Hey man, the Loose Screws said test stream for like 16 years, so.
Nice. Okay.
16 years? Wow, the podcast's been going a while.
We're
I don't
doing
know if
real
y'all
good.
realize this. In about 30 days, it's been going a year. It's been going 2 years.
Nice.
Yep, we're coming up to that 2-year mark. Okay, what am I doing here? Engineering some cannons. And then I hope my next stop is thrusters, because I really want to get my enhanced performance on here. I must have used the Sarge for limpets. That must be what... He must be pinned as lightweight on collectors or something. All right,
I
cannons.
can confirm that this guy does have every ship that is not rank locked.
There you go. Hey, so since you're sitting right there, why don't you pop over to Inara and ask it to find you the nearest Corvette?
Yeah.
Will do.
Because I would love to know if it's available in Colonia at all.
All ships are available in Colonia.
That's what they tell me.
It seems like I was. I've heard the same thing, but it seems like I read that the rank lock, that the vet and the cutter are not. That they're the last two.
But wasn't there some like past year or so BGS or power play shenanigans where one of these factions or powers got retreated out, or there was a war? Could have
I
threatened.
think.
Oh,
you're
it was
right,
it
but
was
I don't
threatening
remember.
the Alliance ships, though. I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
One was the Imperial Eagle.
Oh, that was not going to be available anymore.
Yeah.
I think that was in like November.
I don't know.
Airfield recently. And they broke the Colonia Accord. I think it was a different faction that broke the Colonia Accord like 3 weeks later.
Hmm.
I'm not having any luck on Inara, so I'm going to try EDDB.
Yeah.
Well, it probably means it's not there. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're there. We don't need to roll that again. I am not one of these people who gets tricked into closing my grade 5 rings. That last like 25% of the circle is worth like 0.001%.
EDDB actually shows results. The nearest federal Corvette to Colonia is 21,800 light years away.
It is not available in Colonia. Oops, I just pinned the wrong blueprint. I have to repin the one I want now. Flow control, please. I was trying to do the experimental. I have to put flow control on these to make them fit inside my 2A power plant. Anywho. Well, it makes sense to me that, like, you know, every ship in quotes would be available. 7 left.
All right, now to go get back on that carrier that's leaving Monday before I forget.
Oh, that was a terrible roll. Oh well, I'm not getting suckered again. Okay, I need to go repin the blueprint I wanted. Collector limpets, definitely collector limpets. Which class should we look at? It doesn't matter. Lightweight. In.
Oh, Teflon. The current Corvette is too ugly to sell there. You're right.
You've done it. Okay.
Let's not open up that wound.
It's 2 Fednek. I
You know
am
what?
on to the next spot.
I really like Joystick Gremlin, but the fact that you have to use Joystick Gremlin drives me insane.
Yeah.
Get around the button limit that Elite can.
Well, that's one way to do it, but it creates a virtual. Well, you combine it with VJoy, and you can basically like reprogram all your controllers to appear as one controller to your computer, and apply curves and stuff at the same time and macro. It's really powerful, and considering how lightweight it is, I think it's pretty nice. But yeah, it's a little iffy.
It's just one of the. It works great. I have no complaints about it, except for the fact that I hate the fact that I have to use it, because Windows should allow me to use all the buttons that are on my damn controller. This is freaking
Well, this is
2021.
you had an X56, right? And you switched to a Virpal?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So is it just because it has too many buttons, or is there something else you're using it for?
So there is a device limitation in Windows as far as joystick controllers, and the hard count, I believe, is 32 or 36. I want to say
It's 32, yeah.
That's interesting because as a flight simmer, I've never run into that, and I've got like a
Yeah.
yoke and throttles.
But
If you go through and count it up, the majority of flight sticks that are sold are either A, limited to 32 buttons, or B, they have a mode switch to go
Right.
from one
Which
set
is
of
what-
32 to another set of 32.
Which is what the 56 has.
Takeoff procedure
Right.
complete.
Which is why with the Verpal has, I believe, 64, and then
Oh,
5
really?
or 6 mode switches per the 64. So there's a shit ton of things you can do with it. But,
I drift casually up past this giant. How tall is this?
so you
It's a 3-kilometer tower.
on 0.4G, you can do stuff like that.
Yep. I just thrusted when I took off, and I'm slowly losing velocity, but not very slowly.
Man, I love that searchlight on top.
Yeah.
I like when you turn out the night vision, the way it looks.
Yeah, that
We
the
gotta have something up there, otherwise
engineer
people are gonna
base
run
looks
into it.
awesome.
Oh my god, it looks so cool. There's a few other engineers that they have that.
Yeah, engineer bases are the coolest. They're the coolest. So anyway, we're
Yeah.
going to Ark next, which is another long trip. But after that, the trips aren't so long.
That reminds me, I
through
need to
the
find some more
planet.
drugs so I can go see Domino.
Odyssey. Oh, this has a pretty
Sorry.
good boost sound. Beats the regular Eagle boost sound, doesn't it? I like that pop.
Flight control now.
I'm trying to figure out why you're not using the Vulture.
Commander.
You're using small ships. The Vulture's like the best small ship.
Yeah, no large hard points. We want it to be a swarm of little guys.
Ah.
We're adding some challenge to it. Yeah, because my Vulture, like I could take out anything in
It's
my
too easy.
Vulture.
Yeah.
I could take out
Yeah.
wings in my Vulture by myself. Like that's silly. So yeah. So what we're up to is Piranha Squad needs to nibble away at the Anacondas altogether. I want to make it fun. Plus, we'll probably get into some PvP crap, and those will be fun little matchups.
Yeah, my Piranha's got gimbaled frags on the wings and pack hounds in the middle. I love it.
Is it Viper?
It is a courier.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Frameshift drive charging.
So, Dubs, I've been playing around in the Type 10. Let me start that over. Tracks, I've been playing around in Dubs' Type 10.
Oh yeah, that build. Yep.
Yeah.
For the
So,
AFK.
Yeah. So I've been doing that.
Do you encounter
I've
the AI slowdown?
That's
Like
exactly what
the
I was gonna
whole
talk
game
about.
engine
Yeah.
slows down. Yeah, and it's not your computer getting bogged down. It's not a memory leak or something, because your GPU and CPU usage will go down when that happens, not up.
Yeah. See, what's even weirder is that like the reported FPS shows like 120.
Oh really?
Like
So if you
do the
turn on
Control
Oh,
F,
that's interesting.
it, well, I did Control F and it was reporting the correct. It was reporting like down into the teens sometimes for me.
oh weird.
But I wonder. I wouldn't have been surprised if some other
Frameshift drive.
on-screen display was showing a different rate, because your computer is still displaying frames that fast, but the game is not feeding the CPU frames to draw any faster than that.
That
It's gotta be
has
the
to
AI.
be something with the NPC
Yeah,
AI, the way it's written.
it's
But
like it
just-
builds up
nothing
and
else.
never goes away or something.
When
So-
people post videos where they've stood in the concourse all night and they look at their screen again and it's all jacked up.
Oh yeah,
People say in comments it's like some like minor discrepancies or minor inaccuracies in the calculations between all the different bodies
yeah,
and whatever add up
add
over
up.
time.
rounding
Yeah,
errors.
And somehow, yeah, rounding errors.
Wow.
Somehow, these things up.
Here's what I can tell you. With you FSD out and FSD back in, or as soon as you FSD out, it goes back to normal.
Dude, if you
perfectly
don't
fine
have to
for
do that. If you menu log, it goes back to normal.
Oh, really? I
And
didn't
then
know
you
that.
appear close to, because you're sitting a little above the ring anyway, you'll appear like 2 clicks above the ring. And you can just deploy hard points, go right back to it. So Dubs said he drew up a macro that just does what he needs to happen. It goes to menu, comes back out, sets the, because in his case he's using a pilot and he's sitting in the SLF, so he just pops back in and tells the pilot to engage at will again.
Oh my
He
God,
has
that's
it
kinda
set to do
brilliant.
every 30 minutes, and so his runs all night. And because the trouble is, because the game engine slows down, your profits slow down. You know, the first 15 minutes or whatever, he does a lot of money. You know, well, not a lot, but you know, for AFK. And then after it starts to build up, after a couple of hours, it drops to a trickle because the AI is hardly moving around and no ships are showing up.
Frameshift
What we got?
Hey, Data, you know any Ferengi that can come in and consult on profits?
Yeah, that's a rule of acquisition number 69, I think.
Yeah, always menu log every 2 hours.
So you're saying he actually just like he'll fly the fighter and have his NPC fly the type.
Yeah, so he found it works. The Type 10 AFK, works, but he's having better luck. He drew up a gunship, engineered pretty strongly, not crazy. He could probably do it better with pulse lasers, and he has an elite pilot. He gets into the SLF and sits there and does nothing, and he tells the NPC pilot to engage at will, and then once again you have bait cargo. So as soon as they launch he has to say engage at will, because if you just say defend yourself, they won't react to hatch breakers. But anyway, this way, engage at will, the NPCs fire or launch a hatch breaker, and the NPC pilot will fly the main ship and destroy them. And Dubs just sits there in the fighter, and he never gets attacked, because he never moves and never does anything. And she's been able to take things out pretty successfully. So that seems to be better than the Type 10 thing. And I don't know if he shared his build yet for the gunship, but it was just like stuff he had laying around. It wasn't anything special, so I'm sure we could do it better. Basically you just want bi-weave with the highest resistances, because you're going to get a lot of like a minute or two in between waves of NPCs, and you'll be fine. And that gunship has so many hard points. So he's using gimbals for that. He's not even using turrets anymore, so they do a lot more damage. And probably the elite rank of the NPC pilot is crucial. So mine is definitely not that high ranked. I'm not really ready to try it and lose my gunship yet.
Yeah, I actually I saw that gunship build, and I thought about doing a gunship like him, but I got this Type 10 that's literally sitting in my hangar collecting dust.
Right,
That was
me too.
all I had to do was just strap some guns on the damn thing. So
Yeah, I had an AX1 that was not that much fun, it turns out. So I just flipped it around into this. It's fine. I really have no intention of leaving my computer on all night. It was just sort of an experiment, especially since there's a 0% chance that I'm gonna write macros for something like that, which turns out you have to do. So
yeah, the only thing I was gonna do with mine is I'm just looking for like I have it set up in No Man's Sky right now where I log into it once every couple of days and I make like 75 million because I have a factory set up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a factory set up that just runs while I'm AFK, or just runs not even while the game's not even running.
Yeah.
And all I can think of is that at this point in this game, we need something like that. So my plan was to basically do this a couple nights a week to where I could farm, just have enough to, supplement the carrier,
Right.
It's a little ridiculous that there's not some way you can make money off your carrier. I mean,
Well,
I know
they
people can do it a little bit, but it's just not with the way it should be.
It was a creative choice, though. They didn't want them to be that. They didn't want to have factories in the game. They wanted you to play, because otherwise it does become closer to something like Eve or something. Not that I know a lot about Eve, but I believe it.
You're right,
I'm in the right genre there.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, but there's something to be said about.
You can do it in No
if
Man's Sky. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that if you can, I think if you're in a situation where you're having to pay as much money as you have to pay, and I know it doesn't take a lot to farm the money for the thing. I get that. But I think if you're in a situation where you're having to pay every week to use the damn thing, there should be a way where it automates the process.
Well, mine's in the 20 million range per week, and if I was concerned about it, now I know even with the Type 10 and no macros, I can make 20 million in a night in a low res. That way, if I had to, but I don't. So.
Yeah. That's exactly. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just one of those. It would be nice.
Fleet carrier owner problems.
Terra X. We're in a. Am I here? No, I'm in Down to Earth. It's one of Down to Earth's control systems. I just see friendly system security from Terra X Astrocorp. I'm like, oh.
Huh.
3 jump stars.
Watch out.
Drive charging.
He's gonna get me. Well, apparently
Son of a
I'm
bitch,
allied
just
with them.
pulled me
so-
out.
Down to Earth starts streaming, and this is how you gank a friend.
Ah, look at this! Look at this Imperial Eagle with barely any engineering and E-rated thrusters. What a chump! Let's take him out. Can you imagine if he talked like that? That would be so funny. If he just like did that one day.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Fuel scooping.
Well, I'm doing all this engineering with a D-rated FSD because I wasn't about to put a heavyweight FSD in this
Scooping complete.
tiny combat ship. But we're making it work.
Frameshift drive charging.
This is a beautiful cockpit. It's like a prettier SLF or an edgy courier.
It's a courier that's going through a goth phase.
I like that. One more. There's Arc. Don't have to scoop here.
Fuel scooping.
Holy shit, the B star in this system next to Arc
Fuel scoop disengaged.
is 437,000 light seconds.
Frameshift drive
Oof.
charging.
Woof. Not a fan. Alright, Palin. Sell me some thrusters.
4, 3, 2.
So anyway, what are you guys up to today? I didn't ask you when you came in.
No, I'm just screwing around in Minecraft.
Are you planning on coming tomorrow, Data?
Yep.
Fuel scooping.
I'll be there.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
I got courier build like a bunch of us do, and I got a Sidewinder build from our last Christmas event.
Oh,
If
nice.
there isn't a good screenshot of all those small ships in a V formation, it's all a wasted effort.
Well, we'll definitely get that. Yeah, yeah. That's great.
I'm gonna show up with my Corvette and let y'all tip
We'll
the
peck
spear.
at it. This is not going to be like the times that we had unengineered
No, I'll
sidewinder.
get-
You know, it's funny
No, I'll get
because
decimated.
the first time, so you did it the first time, and I was like, I don't know, and it was like, you know, it took a long time, and then eventually we start to do it, and then it was like, you know, many moons later, I did it with my Corvette, and it was like, oh my god, these things are popping instantly. He was pulling his punches. I did not realize that you were letting us win until I did it in my Corvette, and I was like, oh my god, if I squeeze the trigger for a second, these sidewinders evaporate. I was like, why did I tell them they couldn't engineer these? This is insane. And so I just targeted one, dropped the shields, and then switched targets. That was the only way I could make it fun. I was like, I'm so embarrassed by this, but
I remember getting hit by one of those. You dropped my shield in 60% of my hull before you switched targets by accident.
it was just a little squeeze. It was 2 giant friggin' multi-cannons. That's it. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. It might be different. People bring in those frag couriers, because those things are nasty and they're hard to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Little chaff.
Yeah, the
It's gonna be a
piranhas hit
mess.
really hard, Kai.
Yeah. This thing's got... Well, I put cannons on to keep the energy low, and then when the shields drop, I have penetrator payload missiles for module destruction. Gonna be the game. I don't know what guns to put on the Sidewinder. I was planning on doing a Sidewinder as well. I don't know. I have what are those screwy shield
Enforcers?
lasers? Well, I have enforcers. Yeah, that'd be fun. But the
Cyto scramblers.
Cyto scramblers. Yeah, enforcers would be a little. I'm also thinking like, what am I actually gonna be able to hit people with in FAOff? I don't know. Enforcer seems pretty tough for an FAOff weapon.
Yeah.
But Cyto scramblers I
Especially
could
in a
do.
ship that cheap.
If you're fighting big ships, the Cyto scramblers are really cool. And if you're not fighting big ships, the Cyto scramblers are very stupid. Because you have to be able to just sort of hover there on a wide surface. Able Labs.
Let me try Englishing again. Why are the Cyto scramblers not as good on smaller ships?
Well, because they just don't land any shots. So it's a burst laser. It's a size 1 burst laser fixed. It has extra jitter, so it has like 5% jitter natively, right? Which you don't think sounds like much, but if you like, the maximum range of the thing is like 1K or something, or probably it's longer than that. But you can't effectively hit anything past like maybe 800 because the spread of the burst is crazy.
It's like a shotgun laser that only affects shields.
Right, and it does 0 hull damage, but it does 200% shield damage. So it's not 200% thermal; it's 200% to shields. So it's really effective for a size 1 weapon, because for size 1s you're rarely trying to hit hull anyway, because the armor penetration is going to be so low on a size 1 weapon.
Noted.
Wrong one. So, and that's also why the Enforcer ends up being cool, because the Enforcer has extra penetration for a size 1 weapon, which is why it ends up punching above its weight. So, but people tend to really not like the Cyto Scrambler, but it's just very specific. But if you can, go up against a slow-moving Anaconda in a small ship and just hover around the thing, you can do a surprising amount of shield damage.
Flight assist
Ooh,
off.
assist off. Oh, this is a big place. Oh, I remember being at this base. Yeah. Woo! Alright, throttle back. Slow it down.
I like watching the night vision come into view, get lower and lower.
Oh, there it is.
Juliet, November, Tango. Automated flight
Alright,
control
throttle up.
protocol initiated. Please submit
Drop
a
the
request
gear.
prior to landing. Docking permission
Yeah, beautiful
authorized.
base.
You may proceed to landing pad.
I've wandered around
05.
one of those on foot already. It's even cooler when you're just walking
Oh, it's a
around.
massive city.
Oh
That's
my
pretty
gosh,
cool.
it's so neat.
Oh god, only 38. I'm gonna watch my speed here. The higher gravity, but bring it in. Up.
See, now I almost
I'm
want to
going
see it
up.
fly to a 9G world and try landing FAOff there.
Oh, you can't do it. You can't be done. Just drift down. Clunk. Yeah, because if you go like really high G worlds, you use the flight assist toggle to land. Like you come in at like a 1 degree descent, and then when you're like 10 meters off the ground, you tap the flight assist off button a couple of times to hit the ground. That's the only way to do it and survive. Alright, we're outfitting here.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, when I was out exploring, I almost lost my clipper to it crashing coming back down to my SRV.
The Clipper almost blew itself up, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh my
So it was
God.
coming down, and it puts the gear down, and then it just starts like drifting sideways, and then it's just sitting on the nacelle on one side.
Grinding the
So
shields off.
Yeah. So I just hit dismiss as fast as I could, and it just flies back into space sideways, and then came down the second
Oh
time
my
and landed
God.
right.
Alright, here we are, enhanced performance thrusters. And then, so that's 472. Once we engineer these, it'll go over 600.
Fast boy.
Pretty good for an Imperial Eagle. Alright, and we can engineer them right here. Oh, the FSD. I can put a special effect on here. Put Mass Manager on it. I don't like to use deep charge. Oh, I could put strip down on it. That would be better. That would be better because this is a combat ship. Yeah. All right. Anyway, the thrusters. To the thrusters. Dirty. So dirty. Hey, remember that, what was it, a community goal or something where engineering was like discounted roles for a while?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that.
Does anybody else feel like that didn't go away? Like, I feel like my roles have stayed better.
I mean, if they did, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. Because I
I'm just saying.
routinely can get 1 and 2 in just one roll. Like grade 1 and 2 in just one roll, and usually just need 2 rolls on grade 3. Now let's do the experimental. So we need drive distributors on this because it's so light. Finish it off. On 60%. Do I roll again for that 1% optional multiplier? Oh, definitely.
Got to.
There it is, 161. See, and the ring's not clear, but hey, it's rounded up to 161%, so I won't close it. I'm not a sucker. Okay. What's next after Arc? We return
Pharmaceutical
to
isolators
Astro's-
actually exist in the game?
They do. Not often, but they do. Okay, so now we're headed to... Oops. Need to get back into the...
Oh my god, is Kevin Costner down there?
Oh, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Summoning Mrs. Trax. Oh, we're like one jump away.
Oh, that's my
Over to
favorite
Lesty.
one from the expedition.
Everybody's favorite. Beastie. Waterman. Let's go see her. Oh, it takes 2 jumps still. Okay, alright, let's see how these thrusters perform now.
Landing gear
Ship
retracted.
released. Departure authorized.
Yeah, like the
First.
Eagle and the Viper twins are some of the few ships that you feel like you're in a fighter cockpit, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'll do. Cool. Alright, where are we headed? Below the horizon.
Flight control protocol now offline. Thank you, Commander.
Oh boy, this thing
Someone in those
rips
buildings
in a turn.
Screaming right now.
Oh, they can't hear anything. There's no air out there.
Well, no, but seeing an Eagle fly by like that.
Yeah.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh wait, I can do it? I made it high enough that I could see past the horizon. Look at that. Alright, we'll need to level this off then.
Heck yes.
Hell yeah. Super cruises for suckers. Let's jump.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, now I feel like we need a t-shirt with the Loose Cruise logo that says Super Cruises for Suckers on it. Because I would totally wear that.
Temperature critical.
Oh. My thrusters roast me now. Heads up, everybody. Enhanced performance thrusters make a lot of heat.
Well, you're running them dirty too, so that's not helping.
Fuel filling complete.
Dirty always helps. Don't talk to me like that. I've got to be dirty.
Frameshift drive
That's alright.
charging.
I've got low heat weapon. Well, the missiles aren't really low heat, are they? That's okay. We'll be fine.
Well, no, but you won't be using those as much as the cannons, I think.
it's also because I was boosting continually at full throttle, trying to level my ship off, which is where you use like the most thruster power in FAOff, trying to
And fighting gravity at the same time.
yeah, and then hit the FSD, so it just never bled off the heat until we landed. So it's probably not that bad, but I do have to use Monstered on this power plant in order to have enough power. And even then, I have to turn off the cargo bay.
If you're not using Monster, you're not doing it right. That's what I say.
Well, most of the time I am able to use the opposite of that. What is it? Thermal spread?
Thermal spread, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, thermal spread power plant special effect. But you can't with this because I put a 2A in it because it gains me a lot of speed over the 3A.
Yeah, I had to run thermal spread on the Clipper because those, like all Imperial ships, it just runs hot.
That's the way to go. Super Cruiser for Suckers ends which space in Super Cruise? I don't get it. Hey, does anybody get what he's talking about? I don't get it.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
get it.
No.
I feel bad.
Engaged.
I think he's making a reference to Burr. Because this thing's called Super Cruise News, the Which Space Super Cruise News, something like that.
Oh, Burr is which space news? Super Cruise News is
Which space?
the CM's
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
on Tuesday.
Bird does a pretty good job of it too. Good people.
Yeah.
Flight assist off.
Oh, my back. Oops. Heading low. Oh, this is a funny looking base, isn't it? Like all underground. Mining base, of course it is. Get that speed off. There's one nice thing about this ship. It does bleed off its extra speed very quickly.
Maya Juliet, November
Okay,
Tango.
that's where we're going.
Automated flight control protocol initiated. Please submit a request.
Wow, this
prior
gets
to
going
landing.
very fast, very quickly.
Docking permission authorized. You may proceed to landing pad 01.
Lighting gear
I mean, if you're not boosting right at the pad, are you even landing?
Combat landing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about these thermal resist shields I have here with no boosters. Thing down. Hitting it. Show you the hologram. Wow, it's touchy with these thrusters.
The world's scariest elevator.
Am I even above the pad anymore? Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Get down low. Down low. Can't see the hologram. Where is it? Ah, I'm way off behind it. There we go.
Docking procedure.
We need to make a
completed.
section of the
Ship
podcast
secured.
just to start random
Command.
bullshit about celebrities and the lore of Elite. The tabloids and Elite.
All
Okay.
right, y'all have a good evening. I gotta take off.
Hey, Lark, see
ya.
you. Thanks for hanging out. That's pretty great. I can get behind that. How am I doing it, Voderman? Oh yeah, you're gonna set my shield generator special effect. Because I had you pinned already. Okay. Fast charge. Booyah. Alright, next up is Kook. Oh, we got a little trip here, don't we? kook. That's a crowded one. Popular engineer. Prospector's Rest. This is gonna be a lot of jumps. Okay. Oh, we can jump right off the surface.
Ship release. Departure authorized.
Resting heat at full throttle is only 40. 43,
Automated
45,
flight control protocol
climbing.
Now offline. Thank you, Commander.
Alright, off we go.
Charging.
This would be like Galnet lore articles, except it's all nonsense that isn't real.
Yeah. We need Devo Looter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need for that.
When you call him back in from retirement.
Yeah.
Fuel scooping. System scan complete. Fuel scooping complete.
I don't keep up with wrestling at all anymore for many years, but he does a good job on his pod. I listen to his
Oh, that's awesome.
wrestling podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell. He just, he's a charismatic fellow. I guess his co-host is a wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real deal. So they can really get into the discussions on the industry and stuff.
Who is it?
Devo Looter, his other
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
podcast, if I could say other, since he's
Fuel scooping.
hiatusing
System scan complete.
from us at the moment. But
I hate to sing. Never heard that used as a verb. Like that.
Complete.
well, he was bummed about it, but it's like it's a lot of work to do 2 podcasts. Ask anybody, and
Yeah.
and you know, with Odyssey and all that crap, and he's sitting there as a PS4 player.
Drive charging.
Off to bed. I'll catch y'all later.
Hey, good night, man.
Here, bud.
See you.
Fuel scooping complete.
So
Anybody check
Ty,
out that Witcher Pokemon Go game?
I'm sorry. Wait, Witcher Pokemon Go game?
Yeah, it's called Witcher Monster Slayer. It's basically Pokemon Go, but you run around and kill monsters as the Witcher. It's
Yeah.
actually kind of cool. I enjoy it.
Yeah. I that's funny. I don't I liked I really wanted to like The Witcher, and I couldn't stick with that, or The Witcher 3. I couldn't stick with The Witcher 3. And I don't quite know why. I don't want to say just because like I tend to not love the third person point of view games, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, all the other complaints I have is like just drowning in side quests and feeling like it took forever to do anything, And even though I was doing all these side quests, by the time I got back to like a main quest boss, they still seemed wildly difficult to me. So it was like, haven't I leveled up enough or whatever it is? I don't know. I just fell off of it. But maybe it really is just because there's so many games that I've loved that were like that. Yeah, you know.
So for ever since I was like 7 or 8, my absolute favorite game of all time was Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Like, out of
It's still
all of them,
great.
That was my favorite. Yeah,
I was playing that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I actually I complete it every year. I have this tradition I do, but I'll go into that later. But anyway, it was my favorite game up until 2015 when I played The Witcher 3, or 2014, whatever the hell it came out. And like, that game beat out every other game as far as like, if you were on an island, you only had one game left. This is my game, you know. But then Witcher 3 came out, and man, The Link to the Past got bumped down.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I had not played Witcher 1 and 2. I own them. I played them a little bit, but I was never very much into them.
Yeah, and that
so I
put it
picked up.
together.
I tried to play them and didn't enjoy them because of the way that they played. So I started reading the books. I fell in love with the books, or rather the short stories and then the books. Because I read them in order, or tried to anyway. Apparently, I actually read a couple of the books out of order. Didn't realize it until later because they were like the short story things. And man, I am just all over The Witcher. Like, I love it. It's great. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did.
It's really atmospheric. I loved a lot about it, but I didn't end up sticking with it. And I got the game it was like a sale where they all came in a pack for only like $30. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. People talk about these. Well, I'll start with Witcher 1. And I played it for like an hour and was like, well, this is not aged that well. Like, this is it's too old, and it's not like old in like A Link to the Past you can turn on, and you know what I mean, like that game's set in time and still works because it was from a time when games were games. And I don't mean that like when men were men, but when games were arcadey on purpose, you know. Whereas Witcher 1 was not like that. It was just, it's just mechanics are clunky and the graphics are a bit iffy because it was just so long ago and stuff like that. So that didn't hold me. But so then I was like, well, whatever, if I don't have to play them in order, then I'll just jump right to Witcher 3, which everybody thought was so good. And I really did. I put a lot of hours into it, but it just didn't, I don't know, I didn't get very far in the main quest before it was like, there's nothing pulling me back here. So I feel bad about that because it was obviously a great game, but there's still a lot of them that are like that for me. Breath of the Wild. Oh, yeah, and I've never played Breath of the Wild because I don't have any of the recent Nintendos.
I actually bought a Switch just for Breath of the Wild. I love the Zelda games. I think as far as my favorite Zelda games, I think Breath of the Wild is probably my favorite.
Yeah. People say it's the new #1.
It really is. It's really top. Now, see, I liked Ocarina of Time. I thought it was good. I liked Wind Waker, but they just didn't hold a candle to A Link to the Past, in my opinion. And then Breath of the Wild, what I really liked about Breath of the Wild is how they were doing things that were really pushing the envelope of not only what the Switch could do, but what games could do in general. And man, it's really interesting, some of the things that game can do, and it really impresses me what they can do with it from a physics point of view and from just a gameplay point of view.
Yeah, for sure. I think Ocarina of Time is interesting because I remember it at the time. It was like groundbreaking and brilliant, but it was because 3D gaming in that sense was relatively new. And nowadays, if you go back and look at that game, like most of the dungeons are like squares. and there's nothing complicated. But I remember being like, oh my god, like this is insane. But now, like, our brains have adapted to playing 3D games, so this is trivial. And then, hell, I liked, what was that one on, it was like a release title for the Wii, was Twilight Princess.
Yep.
Where you turn into a wolf. I thought that was pretty good. Everybody hated that one. I completed that. I thought it was pretty good. A bunch of the dungeons I thought were really clever. And I liked, even though like they were sort of pretending like you're doing real sword fighting with the motion controller, but it was sort of fake. It was still fun.
The Skyward Sword with the was the Wii Motion, whatever the hell it's called.
That was on Wii U, right? Yeah.
No, that was on Wii.
Oh really? I didn't play it.
Mm-hmm. It well, I think they ended up releasing it on both, but it originally came out on the Wii. They just did a Switch port of it. But that one right there, I think that's but the only Zelda I played and did not like. Twilight Princess, I really liked Twilight Princess, but I didn't like the wolf parts. Like I didn't like they felt very linear and very condensed, and that's one of the things about Zelda that's I just didn't like about it. They felt out of place to me, but the rest of the game I thought was great. So
yeah, well, once again, and being a game on the Wii, again, at the time it was like, whoa, this is crazy, and now if I go look at it, like the thing is so low resolution that I feel like I can barely see what's going on. And it's so funny the way your eyes and your mind and understanding of games changes over decades. And some games use their low quality graphics in a way that holds up, like the Super Nintendo era, like things still look the way they're supposed to, well, except for like Star Fox, when they were trying to make it 3D, and that's really rough. That you can hardly see what's going on. But like the typical isometric stuff like Zelda, but then also well, I guess Zelda isn't really isometric. It's top down or 3/4, whatever they call it. But what am I thinking of? Super Mario Kart, with that effect that the Super Nintendo could do with like the
7.
Yeah, the mode 7, right? The parallaxed floor. It was awesome, and it totally holds up. Like, it still looks great. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. Those are little strokes of brilliance. Teflon liked Twilight Princess, but it was too long. It's been so long, I can't remember if it felt long.
Yeah, I don't remember feeling like that. I don't think I've ever played a Zelda game that I felt like was too long. I feel like I walked away from all the Zeldas just wanting more. Except for Skyward Sword. I hated Skyward Sword. I don't know what it was.
What was that about?
So there's like people, like everybody lives in the sky, but then you have to go down to the ground, and you're the only person that can go down to the ground because you're the whatever warrior.
Yeah.
It takes place in a version of Hyrule that mostly takes place in the air, which doesn't really make sense. But see, I've always believed that all the Zelda games take place in different universes. They're kind of like Final Fantasy. Each one's a little bit different. Each one is in a different world.
Yeah, nothing sequel, but they have
a universal storyline, which is
right.
Weird.
There are facets of the universe, but it's not like this Link is not the same as that Link, right?
Right, but they all
they
all
share
one
these
great
characters.
Story. Right.
Yeah. So it's like different universes that share lore.
Actually, it's all one universe and it's all one story, and the way it's told is that Zelda and Link and Ganon are actually are like souls that like reincarnate or whatever.
Teflon's coming. Teflon's coming.
He's gonna straighten me out.
Yeah, well, because I don't want to have to keep translating for him. He needs to speak. Come in. I'll where's my mouse? There it is. I'll be ready to actuate you when you get in.
You ready to mute him? Just mute him.
Mute him? No, I have to unmute him when he gets here.
Mute him on up, Trax. Just do it.
Prospector's Rest is 12,000 light seconds away. Where does this idiot get off? Oh, Hate's coming in. Well, Hate can move himself up. Hate, move yourself up.
Never liked that Hate guy.
Oh, don't say that. He's right there.
Oh, shit.
Hey, you gotta back off, man. I follow him on Twitch.
Oh yeah, I do follow him on Twitch too. That's a little weird. This little interface you got here is pretty cool, man. I hadn't seen this.
This is Discord. This is a stage channel. So
No, I'm talking on the actual Twitch with the little bar that pops out where you have like, I can see like
the elite
status
track.
and stuff.
Yeah, you can see like my
Yeah.
ships and what's in them and where I am and stuff. Yeah, that's a little somebody wrote that. It's a little script that runs on my computer and reports to the plugin on Twitch. It's pretty cool.
You know, somebody messaged me and said they could do this back when I was doing the stream, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. And I never got back with them because I was lazy about it. So
easy as hell. It's a little script, and it's a program that you run, and so it's running on my taskbar right now. I saw it on Malik VR's stream and clicked it and was like, wait, I want to install that on. And yeah, works great.
Mm-hmm.
Simple, and it turns itself off if you're not streaming Elite too. So like it takes up a Twitch slot, but it doesn't just like sit there showing you nothing. And I think it works for Flight Sim too, because he plays some Flight Sim, and I think it shows his Flight Sim, MS Flight Sim stuff when he's in that game, I think. Or maybe it's a different plugin, but it's like the same author or something. I thought you were talking about Discord, the stage channel.
No,
Yeah, I think it's awesome. If you could do video in here, we would do the tone control in one of these.
Oh yeah.
But we just have to use a regular voice channel and stream in it because we need to be able to do video for the patrons. Live video.
Yeah,
Or
we
video
need
at all,
to-
because that's how I captured Derek's video, actually. There he is. Wait to speak. Alright, Tef, you just gotta click up top. And you'll be in. On top of Discord, I should say.
This can all stop if you just give me 4 tons of algae.
Do you have algae?
Grain. Sorry. I thought I had algae earlier. Now I have grain. Algae earlier. Now I have grain. Algae earlier. Now I have grain. Oh, I'm gonna loop.
Uh-oh.
Algae earlier. Now I have grain.
I think you're looping into Hate's Twitch stream.
My bad, guys. I'm real sorry.
That was awesome.
Algae earlier. Now I have grain. Algae earlier. Now I have grain. Algae earlier. Now.
So good. That was so
So a
good.
bird told me that you were talking about Legend of Zelda, and I felt it deserved some input from someone who literally has Link holding up a taco as his profile picture.
Yeah.
Yep. How's the tacos in Hyrule?
Homemade.
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest, Tef. I looked at your avatar a lot, and I did think it looked like a taco, but I assumed it was just really zoomed in, and it was really like the Triforce or something.
Well, my friend Gary, it did used to be just Link holding the Triforce. And my friend Gary once commented and said, "Is he holding a taco?" And I said, "No, but that's a great idea."
No, but yes.
And so I went and drew the character in pixel art, which is something I've dabbled in.
Awesome.
And made him hold a taco. So that's where it came from. That's why he's holding a taco. Also, tacos are awesome.
Tacos are awesome. Undeniable
So,
fact.
what I was going to say is, The Legend of Zelda is one story about 3 people, about the hero, the princess, and the villain. And it's being told by different people, and because it's like stories passed down through the ages. There's always changes that you hear that are different than the way you heard it before. And so, I mean, just look how much it's changed since it came out in 1983.
Yeah. And like, what the fuck was Zelda 2 about?
Zelda 2: The
Everybody
Adventure of Link.
hates Zelda 2. I like
No,
Zelda
I don't
2.
hate it. It's just the only one
Zelda
that doesn't
2's
fit.
not a bad game.
No.
It's just different
It's
and made a
different.
different way.
My
It
brother
is
got
different.
super into Zelda 2. He is a goddamn sorcerer in that game. Like, he got super
Well, let me
into
tell
it.
you.
He knows all the, like, all the secret stuff, and he can whip through that thing so fast. He's like invincible in there. It's ridiculous to watch him steer that. The side scroller, you have nowhere to run. It's like so much more cramped than any other Zelda game. But he's nasty.
People don't like Zelda 2 because it's hard.
Yeah.
But I think the people who say Zelda 2 is hard don't remember how hard Legend of Zelda is.
Yeah, Zelda
The
1
first Zelda is really hard.
But it's not. It doesn't feel as cramped though, because you have like 2 whole dimensions to move instead of just like jumping and going back and forth. But so that's the impression I always had. It's like trying to evade and position yourself. You have a lot more limited way to go, and I feel like that's why it seemed really hard. But games were harder back then.
Mm-hmm.
Games were definitely harder back then.
I actually beat Zelda 2 before I beat Zelda 1 because I gave up on Zelda 1 and was irritated.
Remember, Zelda 1 was the first game I can remember playing on my original Nintendo back in the day, and I just remember like that was the first like game I remember like thinking about when I wasn't playing it. You know what I mean?
Oh, it stuck with you.
Yeah, like I remember, and back in the day, before there was the internet wasn't a thing really yet, and so like there was all this playground knowledge, and like we had this tiny little printout of the map of the overworld, and like I treated it like it was a treasure.
Was a treasure.
I had never seen it before, and it was on. I was like, it was someone had it in a book, and had put it on like a copy machine.
Yeah.
And like before I ever beat it, my dad beat it, and I remember watching my dad beat it. And I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait till I did it. And
Yeah.
I used to think about it and fantasize about it, and like that's really what got me into my love of video games and of my enjoyment of fantasy. Because I used to make up all these different stories in my head about that were in the Legend of Zelda world.
Right. Huh.
And there's probably a line in there that leads to me being into Dungeons and Dragons like I am. So,
well, yeah. There's a direct association there.
I actually played D&D before I played Zelda because I played Zelda late to the games. I didn't have an NES or SNES until like I had a NES when the SNES was out of style. I mean, like, well, so like I was, God, how old was I when I got a NES? I was like, well, actually, I got a NES early. The SNES was out, but it hadn't been out by maybe a year. But I didn't get a SNES until I was like 17, man, 16.
I'll tell you, I actually never had a Super Nintendo as a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a regular Nintendo, and like a lot of this gets tied up to like, when I was in second grade, my parents got divorced. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like then they're both single parents. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so they both. I managed to get a Sega Genesis at both houses though, so there was that.
What does that say about Sega Genesis?
I don't know. We played a lot of like my dad always played games like that with me too.
Oh, yeah.
Like we used to play Street Fighter. I remember watching him beat Street Fighter.
Nice.
On the Sega Genesis. I remember playing Mortal Kombat against him and my stepmom at the time, and Mortal Kombat 2. Lots of Sonic the Hedgehog. I remember the way I had wanted a Sega, and I remember the way I got it for my birthday was I was down at my grandparents' house. We were doing my birthday during the summer because I was at Dad's visiting, because at the time I was living with Mom, and that's a whole convoluted story.
Right.
But anyway, I was down at my grandparents, and my dad and I got a Sega Genesis box, but it was very light because it was empty, and inside was a note that said "Go back to the house," which was just across the yard. Was a little house where my dad lived. And so I
Oh,
ran up there and hooked up to the TV running the Sonic the Hedgehog title screen was a Sega Genesis hooked up.
rad.
And I was excited. And I played a level in Sonic the Hedgehog and had to go back down to my birthday party. And then
That's a good story.
yeah. But like I played so the very next game after Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 that I played was not A Link to the Past. It was actually Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time when I got it in 64. And I remember because even though I really liked video games, I wasn't like really into video games, really hard yet. And then my friend Brian in middle school had a Nintendo 64, and he lived across the street and 2 houses down from me. And he would come over and he would bring his Nintendo 64, and he brought Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and I had seen the commercials for it, but then seeing him play it and getting to play it myself and to try it myself, I was floored. I was like, at the time, I was like, it's so realistic.
I know. It was so mind-blowing. You remember the dungeon where you'd crawl through this tunnel at one point and it twists, and then when you come out the other side, you'd play the rest. You'd be able to play the dungeon on its side from there, so like you're walking on what used to be the wall, and you could go back through. It was like, oh, that was such a clever puzzle. That's when Nintendo was like, they were doing that sort of stuff. They were like using the medium.
I can tell you exactly what dungeon that is, because like Ty used to play A Link to the Past every year. I used to play Ocarina of Time every year. Like I would, when I was on leave home from the Navy, I would sit and play Ocarina of Time all the way through. That's in the Forest Temple. Right after you become an adult, right after you
It's
become
the first
adult.
one as an adult. Yeah, I remember that now.
I love that one, and I always loved, like, oh man, I still remember the goosebumps I would get just hearing the music in that temple. It had such an effect on me, just like the music that played in the background in that temple. I need to give you guys more dungeons in Dungeons and Dragons. I need to give you more stuff like that.
Well, the trouble, you know what the trouble with that is? Well, I don't know. I guess it's about how you organize it, right? It's about and I've never like DM'd a game, but like difficulty by how many mobs there are versus difficulty by how many corridors that might have one mob in them, right? So there's a balance there, right? So you could try, because what I end up thinking about when you say like I need to give you guys more dungeons, I'm thinking, gosh, it takes us like our whole play session to clear one floor of this place that we're in, but it's how it's organized, right?
Right, and that's something like you guys have been a wonderful test bed for teaching me how to make, of me learning, like, because I look back, every time we play, I look back on what happened, what's going on, what I need to do differently, and what I need to do to prepare for the next session.
What your players stupidly misunderstood.
Man, there are things I can't tell you right now, but I will tell you once we get further down the line.
Right. Like about the dumb thing that we did, or the thing that we walked right by.
Not about anything dumb we did. Just other things.
So I know you like Dark Dice. I think you might have even pointed me to that. But there's the one particular episode of that where they encounter something and they go, I don't know, man, that looks sketchy. Let's just move on to the next house. And the dungeon master goes, and then the DM threw away 4 pages. Like angrily, it's like, yep, there you go.
You don't throw away 4 pages. You don't throw away 4 pages. You recycle those 4 pages. I'll find a way to fit that in later.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I totally. There are pages. There are pages I've had to like. Well, I guess I'm setting this aside for now.
I spent 6 hours building this monster made of boogers for you to fight. Just because you dodged the first dungeon I put it in doesn't mean you're going to dodge the second or the third.
Yeah.
I honestly, speaking to that, I honestly did make a monster I intended you guys to fight, and I have yet to find a place to put it in.
A monster looking for a plot.
Yeah. You'll know it when you see it. Like, you'll figure it out.
You'd be like, this is the one he invented before the rest of the story.
When I finally spring it on you, you'll know which one it is. Especially, yeah. I don't want to say any more than
Gross.
that. Yeah.
That's been in
You'll
your
know.
pocket.
Yeah, it's been in my pocket.
Oh, come
Have
on.
you all followed the drama or the lawsuit over at Blizzard?
Oh,
Man.
I only saw like kind of
I
headlines
read it,
because
yeah.
like I only saw headlines
read
at
it.
this point.
I read it out loud in Discord yesterday.
Oh my god. So sorry, I missed that.
It's okay. It makes me mad. The stuff going on at Activision Blizzard.
I'm trying to figure out what the total I don't want to say response, but like what the total fallout's going to be from all that. Because here's the thing, like some of the stuff I read about the allegations, like doing the cube crawl where they all get drunk and then they crawl around each other's desks, and you have to remember this was a group of college friends that decided to form a company together, and up until 2004 they had less than 500, they had less than 200 employees. And they were all a close-knit group, so I could see getting drunk with my friends at work and doing stupid shit.
Yeah, but not when you have 500 employees.
Well, that being said, I can still see doing it. I mean, if it's my friends, I can still see doing it. That being said, however, the stuff where they start harassing women and stuff, like.
But that's the thing. Like it
that's
invariably leads to it. That's the trouble. That's why it's like, well, these aren't your friends anymore. You know,
Yeah.
and that's and not being able to see that is not
It's a problem.
It's a problem, and it's not excusable. It's not excusable because anybody can see that, and it makes it like look really, really willful.
A woman took her own life because of the harassment she got.
Yeah, I mean, a woman went on a business trip with them. I'm not sure where. I can't remember where off the top of my head. She ended up killing herself because of the harassment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
right. So that's the thing is like, isn't it just so painful to not just anybody that isn't gonna take that to not get out in front of it? Like, it's just simple to do. It's not difficult, and so like I know what you're saying. Like, a group of friends can X, but it's not a group of friends now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be brain dead enough to not realize that you're not that, and to not see what else is happening. I mean, it's unconscionable.
Well, for me, like, I mean, these people, like some of the people that when this was going on, J. Allen Brack, Chris Metzen, for lack of a better term, these people are my video game heroes. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this has been a 2-year investigation.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure how far back it stretches. I'm not sure what people are involved, but I mean, ultimately, the people that at one point I kind of looked up to from a video game point of view, they were ultimately, they may not have done these things, but they were responsible for the culture in that company. And
yeah,
and like I say, if it was normal pranks, like we pull pranks on each other at work all day long. Nothing harmful, nothing that's gonna hurt each other long term.
Sure.
Nothing harassment type stuff. but I can also see how someone outside looking in might look at that as like, yeah, that's harassment. If it was friendly, jovial stuff that just got blown out of proportion, I'd be like, well, I'll give them a pass. But the stuff they name in this lawsuit,
Yeah.
man, I'm not sure Blizzard should be a company anymore.
I
That's
mean,
where I'm at.
I feel like that too, but I mean, the reality is they will probably get a fine. It won't be enough, and Activision will pay it because Bobby Kotick is a piece of garbage.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other part of this is that everybody who was anybody, everybody who started that company, everybody who was there when the company started, they're not there anymore. They've all left.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people who took the vision of Blizzard forward aren't there anymore. Like the people who, the people who made the games we loved aren't there.
The only one I can think of that is still there is their current CEO, and I can't think of his name right now. Is it J. Allen Brack? Is that his name? I can't think of his name right now.
It is J. Allen Brack. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I want to say he's the last of the group that's still there. That was one of the original founders.
I mean, he absolutely needs to be held accountable for this because this is just as much his fault as the guy in charge.
Yeah. Well, and then the question becomes, well, if you're just a director of a video game, how much of that are you responsible for? I mean, if it's just someone in the IT department, well, you're not responsible for the IT department, and I don't.
No, but
leadership is.
Yeah, cultural things within a company are the responsibility of the leadership, all the way up, because that sets the, they set the culture of the company. They define it by who they hire and who they keep. They define it by how they train them, and it's systematic. That's why it's their fault. Whether they and not knowing about it is, arguably worse, or I don't know. That's probably hard to argue. If they didn't know and it was going on, that's also bad. If they knew, I guess that's probably worse. But they needed to be in charge, and
and like I said, I don't know where exactly where the line is with some of this stuff. Because like part of me is just kind of like, well, do you really hold? Do you really hold? This the best example I can give you is like it's just kind of like I said, someone
keeping their hands to themselves.
Say it again.
Kindergartners keeping their hands to themselves.
I mean, do you?
He's talking about drawing the line of where to draw the line in punishment for.
They really shouldn't have gotten that far. They should have kept their hands to themselves.
Well,
for those responsible, responsible in leadership is what he's talking about. So, like, where do you draw the line? Like, is the project lead of this game, is he responsible for this culture? Well, how did he act? How did the females underneath him say he acted? You know what I mean? What do they have to say? Hear their voice, because it's them who suffer from this frat boy culture, not the men.
Right.
And the question becomes, did like a good example would be like Rob Pardo. He was the technical director for World of Warcraft and Warcraft 3. Does that mean he was responsible for what was going on over on the Diablo team? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now,
so, in my opinion, and this is just my layman's opinion, I would say every member of upper management from the CEO down should be held accountable from this. You need to, sometimes you got to cut off the head and bring in and make a new environment. Bring in somebody to create a new environment. Sometimes you got to do an overhaul of things.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying too is that, like, by cutting off the head, you're not ignoring the underlings, so to speak, that might have perpetrated exactly the actions, right? But by subbing out that at the top, that is what's going to cause those other people to get what's coming to them, so to speak.
Being a leader means means you have to be accountable for those you are leading.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I was in the Navy, there was some shit that happened, and we got a new captain out of it and a new admiral because they, you're going to be, yeah, they a higher admiral said, well, you guys have fucked this up, and so
Yeah.
you are basically fired, and I'm going to bring in other officers to take this and build up what you messed up. Have fun pushing papers for the rest of your career.
So, like, what I think is going to end up happening out of all of it, and I may be completely wrong. I think that J. Allen Brack will be replaced. I think that any of the old guard at Blizzard, that the people who are still there that I don't know about, I think that they will be gone. I think that any sort of management will be gone. I think it's also entirely possible Activision will dissolve Blizzard, and they'll just
Dissolve
become Activision.
Blizzard. I would be shocked because,
think
and
Bobby
not
Kotick
because I don't think they should be, but like that sort of thing. That's the thing, is like this stuff ends up from memory ends up turning into a slap on the wrist most of the time.
You're probably right, but
That's what I feel is going to happen too. I
Yeah.
feel like they're going to get fined, but because of how much money they make and what they can legally fine them, it will be a drop in the bucket.
Cost
Because
of doing
the
business.
punishments, the punishments for this stuff don't scale like it should be, because, and I don't like to get political, but corporate people buy the politicians because of
Money.
because the Supreme Court ruled that corporations should have the same rights as people.
Yeah.
And so they can. That's
Same
how.
speech as people.
Yeah.
Frameshift drive
And so,
charging.
they get to make big donations to politicians, who then make rules that favor the people that give them big donations, who then give them donations for their campaign so they can stay in power. It's
the only thing I'll say about that is it's kind of a two-way street. It does protect smaller corporations, which they need that kind of protection. Unfortunately, it's a blanket protection. It protects small corporations like Trax Corporation. I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, well, what do you mean protects them? Like the corporations offer donations to politicians for please do. I mean, that's what lobbying is. That's what we're talking about. They say please do this. I don't like this law. Please change it to this. Here's a bunch of money for your campaign, and that's okay. That's okay for them to do. That's not okay for me to do. Like, I can't influence a. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. What it sounds like you're saying is, like, for a smaller corporation, it would be okay for them to do too, but they're smaller. They don't have the kind of money that big ones have, so it isn't really the same. Now, if it was like democratized, where every corporation has one vote, has $1 worth of influence regardless of their size, that would be democratizing it. And so, like, every corporation is a person, just like every person is a person, and everybody gets one vote, right? So if every corporation had one vote, then it would be a totally different story. Then the corporations, I'm still not sure that would be, logical, but the corporations could influence politicians and say, well, my interests are this, just as I say my interests are X and I vote accordingly as a human. They'll say, as a corporation, my interests are X, so I'm going to vote this way. But that's not at all the system that we have. It's as much money as they feel like throwing at it, and it's cost of doing business. Once again, it's like Coca-Cola arguing for different environmental regulations, because at the end of the year it's going to cost them $1 million if they have to do XYZ in whichever city. I don't know if that's an invented thing, but like that's the sort of stuff that they think about, because it's like, well, we can retool this factory, or we can try to change this law, which is going to be cheaper. They'll do whichever is cheaper every single time. They almost have to. They have like a fiduciary obligation. It's called when it's a publicly traded company.
It is very much a cost of doing business thing. It's just like the people who are very rich who, you know, an example would be like, you can't park in this space because you will get fined. You know what I mean? Well, fine me. You find $500. $500 is nothing to somebody like that. To them,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And they look at it this way. To them, and they look at it this way, it just costs that much to park there. That's just the cost to park there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, does the fine pay for the roads?
Playing Elite Dangerous really gave me a lot of insight into how much money a billion is. Because, like, like things in Elite cost hundreds of thousands or millions or sometimes tens millions, except for like some of the higher up things when the costs add up, like outfitting a fucking cutter can cost a whole billion.
Yeah.
But like the millions I would spend on repairs to ships, like that was nothing. You know what I mean? It's like Jeff Bezos gave 40 million to this charity. Okay, that's nothing to him. Like
that's like a day.
Like,
have you seen there's a website that scales
meals?
Yes, scaling Jeff Bezos' pay. There's a website that was like tracking, breaking it down by the minute. How much did Jeff Bezos make in the minute it took you to look through this website? You know, and it was, there's
a College Humor did a whole song on things you could do if you had Bezos's money, and it is very eye-opening.
Does one of them make a penis rocket?
Terraform the Sahara Desert into a rainforest.
Well, that doesn't seem practical. I could see why he didn't do that one.
He could use the carbon credits that he earns by being an African company.
Carbon credits?
To sell and make all of his money back.
This is America. We don't do carbon credits.
Yeah, right. Lots of African nations do.
Yeah.
Lots of European nations do.
Mm-hmm.
And if he monetized it and was planting fruit-bearing trees, in a few years, he's going to start making money, but that money is just going to keep making money for him.
Yeah. So my wife does she's a English and literature teacher for high school here. And she does a big unit about the American dream that like starts with the Great Gatsby book and stuff like that. But just the thing is, it's a private high school. It's a pretty expensive elite school, and most of the kids come from rich families. And most of the time, they have an idea in their head when they get there about, the American dream is, well, you bootstrap yourself, and poor people are poor because they didn't work hard or they're trying to cheat or something like that. Like what they really want is for somebody to give them a handout. They're trying to find a way to cheat, and that's why they're not getting by. And it's hard, right? Because the basic conceit of what she's doing with this unit is explaining that this American dream thing that is taught to kids in elementary school is nonsense propaganda. It's like kind of Russian level propaganda. It's not that everyone has an equal shot at anything, and that was never true from the beginning. It doesn't mean that people can't make something of themselves, but it's not at all what they have been kind of taught to believe, and it's all easy to see if you kind of look for it, right? And some of this stuff, it's the same thing. It's, I don't make a ton of money. My wife and I, we don't make a ton of money, but we live in such a way that we're able to save and invest some of it, and it works like crazy. And so for somebody with our income, we live very comfortably compared to some of our friends who make more than us but manage to have higher debts and struggle sometimes. And it's almost like it's bewildering sometimes to us. But that's the thing, is like, when you have money, that starting point, it's being on a totally different starting line. And oh god, all these things are racing through my head now. You guys have, oh wow, we really got onto a thing. That's powerful.
We did, but
I'm impressed.
I'm on board with everything you've said because that's
I mean, I can't possibly go through the whole thing because I would need to call her down here and say, "Oh, you need to explain," because I'm going to say something. I'm going to mess it up in some way. But that's the gist of it. It's, and this isn't something that can, this isn't a matter of opinion. And that's the other thing is like she has to approach these things in such a way that the students will listen, because you can turn people off right away by saying something that makes you sound like, "Oh, I'm just trying to argue with you," or "I'm against you," or something like that. But to say, well, to do it Socratically and say, "What do you think of this?" But oh, okay, but actually, that rich person inherited $1 million investment. So actually, if they sat on their butt and did nothing, they would make this many dollars per year. And so sitting on your butt and doing nothing is what you're accusing people on welfare of doing. So where do we stand now that you see that, and sort of starting from there and kind of moving on. I don't think that people who have money shouldn't be able to use their money for things, but to come at it from the belief that people who have money desperately, well, for one thing, like desperately need to cling to it because poor people are trying to like take it away from them, or like taxes are going to somehow impact them. Like it's trivial.
And do you think poor people are poor on purpose?
Yeah, well, here's the other thing. You have to make money to pay taxes. Like, whenever I do my taxes at the end of the year, and it's like, oh man, look at how much I'm being charged, look at how much I paid into estimated taxes this year. And I'm like, well, that just means I made a ton of money. Like, I'm not upset about that. Like, I want to pay for fire departments and stuff so people's houses don't burn down. Like, give me a break. And that's a totally different way of looking at it, where some people it's like, oh man, taxes, grr, it just seems like a way to get upset for probably nothing. If you make less money, you'll pay less taxes. It's a great way to pay less taxes, and whatever. That's a totally different story as well, but except that the problem is that what did Jeff Bezos pay in taxes to get back circular to this?
Less of a percentage than you paid.
Yeah, because the tax breaks, guess what? They got lobbied. So it's not just a flat thing. If we simplify everything and it was a flat percent, like if everybody paid a certain, or, well, really it should be graduated because it's silly to think of something as a flat percentage. But like, if somebody doesn't make very much money, they pay almost nothing in taxes. That's not bad for us. They're not pulling their weight. They don't have any money. Like, they have to worry about where their food is coming from.
And if sometimes people worry about, like, well, if you start doing that, they'll move their headquarters or their business elsewhere. They could do that now. Another country could could offer them incentives to do that, and they could move it.
What if we as a country stopped charging people for earning money, but instead started charging people for spending money?
Consumption taxes. Exactly. Well, it's probably a little more complicated than that, but that is such a strong position to start from, in my opinion. Like, because then we'll see what the rich people, because that's the other thing is you think, well, this is a political point. Oftentimes it's like, well, let's give the rich people a tax break because they will give it to their employees because they're job creators, but they don't. Like, we've tried it a dozen times, and in every case they save it. But you know why? Because they have a pad. They can make it through a tough time because they're rich already. They can save the money and just wait for the economy to get better. They don't have to give it people. Whereas you give tax break to middle class and lower class people, they turn around and buy food with it because they have to buy food. And that gets pumped back into the store next door. And the store next door employs people next door. Right. That's who spends money. And that's churn. Churn is what makes the country work. And frankly, that's the only reason there is taxes. Like, because money is a made-up concept anyway. The idea that the gold standard was ever something our money was associated with is stupid. And the sooner we got off of it, the better off we all are. We're not going back to it. Value is arbitrary. And that's why it changes all the time. However, paying taxes is sort of for the sake of maintaining the value of the currency and also paying for things that need to be paid for. And yes, the government does just invent money out of nothing, but they actually have to, and it's better that way.
It's like
man.
it's like people who are when going back to the public healthcare thing too. It's like people. What about people who don't want healthcare? Who doesn't want healthcare? Who wants to to not be able to go to the doctor?
That's ridiculous too, because you will cost your neighbors more money when you don't have healthcare, because something happens to you and you have to go to the ER. So just get everyone covered and stop arguing about the cost of things, and just anyway, whatever. I would definitely be in favor of a single payer system. It's worked in literally every case. Like, there's historical examples of it, and so pretending that it's like this vast experiment that's going to change something about our world. The only thing it changes is there's insurance companies. It's not doctors that are causing problems. It's insurance companies just chasing prices up and down all over the place and trying to trick people and making a killing every time anything happens and people get stuck in a weird situation. It's the insurance companies not playing dice because they know exactly what the numbers are.
When I was in the Navy and I lived off base in an apartment with a couple of friends, and I got sick enough that I felt like I needed to be seen, I just went to the Navy hospital, and like, they took care of me. I got seen by a doctor, I got prescribed medicine, and I got better. Like, I never had to think about things like that. I said, oh, I need glasses. I made an appointment with the optometrist on base. I went in, I got glasses.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have to worry about that stuff. You know what I mean? Because all that is taxpayer funded.
And if you're more productive when you don't have to worry about stuff like that, and being productive benefits everybody, just like educating children benefits everybody because they all become more productive, and that's why public schools are a good thing, and so on down the line.
The problem is they're still stuck with, especially with education, they're still stuck in this archaic mode. As why do you think, that's why classrooms are arranged the way they are, with so many people in rows, and that's why they give these grades of A, B, C, D, E, F. It all goes back to factory work. There's less factory work now than there ever was. You know what I mean? We need to get away from that archaic system and change the way the education system is. We are so far behind other countries in terms of education.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
And it's just like, you can't tell some people this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like,
but a lot of times people hear that, and I mean, I don't think you're wrong. My wife works at a private school. She doesn't work in public school because she wants to be able to control her curriculum and teach what she knows is important. It's not, she teaches grammar and stuff like that and how to write a paper, but she's teaching how to think and how to approach your thoughts and collate them. When she's teaching these units, she's not saying write a paper about how the American dream is dead. She's saying something more like write a paper about what you think the American dream is, and you're graded on how well you justify that. So kids disagree with her all the time, her basic premise all the way up through. And if they justify it, and if they cite it in writing, and if they find the historical evidence and stuff like that, then they'll get a good grade. If it's a well-written paper, they will get a good grade because she's teaching them how to think and argue their points. Now, most of the time, if they do that correctly, they come to the conclusion that, people don't have a fair shot, and it has a lot to do with circumstances that are wildly out of your control. So, and nothing to do with how hard you work. But that's
circumstances wildly out of your control. Yeah, because you can't control who you're born to, where you're born, where you're from.
Right. And it becomes about morality in that sense too, if this is something you can't control, you know what I mean? So, but public school is still like vitally important because the high school that she worked, I mean, this costs more than $20,000 a year to attend this high school. And you have to educate everybody. You can't just educate people, and so it's hard, because I mean, I believe very strongly in needing to trying to offer people this American dream that they all think they have, right? And a big, huge part of that would be having reasonable education for everybody, because that benefits everybody. Because you know, when all the kids coming up, if all the kids coming up do have this opportunity and get properly educated, who knows what they'll create? Who knows how many of them will become a Jeff Bezos and create a rocket ship and change the whole world, right? But you don't know if you don't give them a chance, and you may as well, because even if it's just some small thing, it benefits the communities all over the place. And I absolutely no problem with paying taxes.
Absolutely. And like, that's like, in my opinion, isn't that what we should be working towards, is how to take care of everybody? Why are we so against some people?
It's not so altruistic, I even think. Like, I have no problem being altruistic. I just also I feel like I have a well-reasoned understanding that if everybody around me has a fair shot, or as fair, you know, as good an opportunity as they can to make something of themselves and follow their interests and stuff like that, they will make clever things. Like, that's just what humanity has done over and over again, is iterate on previous generations and stuff like that. And so the fewer of them that have to worry about where their dinner is coming from, the more of that energy can be put into whatever, making my grass greener or something with a cheaper product, or making, you know, figuring out a way to recycle water better, or anything, you know, stock investing that's smarter. I don't know. Any of this stuff. You have no idea. It's like doing basic science in space and having no idea whether whether a pen is gonna come out of that, or a new antibiotic. Or nothing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I really think we should invest in more STEM fields too.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, we got way off topic.
Oh, what topic? I am gonna get this headset off my face though, but I super appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting. I'm gonna close the stream down, and I'm not chasing you all off, but I am gonna close the stream down.
We're gonna have after party at Ty's house.
After party at Ty's house. Everybody go to Texas. It can't possibly be hotter than it is here. Well, that's not true.
The sunset. You're probably right.
Oh, well, I don't know. It's sunset here too. Sooner, actually. Anyway. Okay. Twitch, thanks for watching. See you later.
Mind your speed and your surroundings. Avoid costly collisions. Always proceed directly to your allotted bay to avoid unnecessary delays and/or ship destruction. Loitering is a crime, punishable by death. Please make sure you have authorization before you enter the docking bay. For your convenience and safety, pacification emplacements are active and tracking at this station. Do you have authorization to be inside the docking bay? Remember, loitering is a violation. The access corridor is designated a no-stop zone. Blockages will be removed using lethal force. Crashes cost. Kill your speed, not your credit balance. Welcome to our station. Crashes cost. Kill your speed, not your credit balance. Loitering is a crime, punishable by death. Please make sure you have authorization before you